365 days ago today, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree dropped onto PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Shadow of the Erdtree is the perfect extension to FromSoftware's open-world masterpiece Elden Ring. Arriving almost 2.5 years after the base game's launch, Shadow of the Erdtree brought a massive swath of new areas for players to traverse through in an open-world island setting that is almost the size of the original game's map. In the last year, Shadow of the Erdtree has seen critical acclaim, awards, and a few updates, so today on Game Rant, let's talk about Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree 365 days later. Also, before I get started, spoiler warning, as I talk about some of the later game elements in this video. Shadow of the Erdtree is, at its core, more Elden Ring, but it's more in every sense. More enemy variety, more map variety, more intricate level design, more detailed boss fights, more depth to dungeons and explorable areas, more weapons to buildcraft with, the list goes on and on. Everything that was great about Elden Ring has been expanded and improved in Shadow of the Erdtree, as FromSoftware was not okay sleeping on their laurels. The end result is a DLC with so much to do, so much replayability, and so much new to see. Upon entering the DLC, you look at just how much effort was put into making these areas visually distinct from the original game. You have this beautiful golden field sat in front of you, giant castles in either direction, and as you keep exploring, you'll discover large caverns of vegetation, beautiful blue fields, and creepy Lovecraftian wastes. Each area feels entirely unique, not even close to the things that you've experienced in the main game. This goes for bosses as well. FromSoftware's boss design is one of its strongest attributes, and each of the main bosses in this DLC has their own identity and flavor. Their music is intense, their movesets are vast, and their visual styles are enrapturing. On top of all that, Shadow of the Erdtree also adds something that affects both the DLC and the main game, that being build variety. The amount of new weapons and armor in this DLC is insane, offering us dual-wielded swords, powerful light greatswords, and even perfume bottles that can apply status effects. These all can be taken back into the main game once you're done with the DLC. As you would expect, all that led to incredible reviews. Shadow of the Erdtree received a 94 on OpenCritic, widely praised for all of the great things I mentioned in that last paragraph. Although at launch, it did spark quite a bit of controversy about its difficulty. Shadow of the Erdtree is notoriously hard. It might be one of the hardest things FromSoftware has ever made. This is no surprise, as From's DLCs always tend to ramp up the difficulty since they're being offered to more of the hardened fan base, but the difficulty balancing here just felt off to a lot of players initially. No boss receiving more disdain than the final one, Radahn. Everyone struggled with Radahn, regardless of experience. He had a moveset that opened up very few chances for counterplay and for healing. This conversation would eventually boil over with a lot of people being frustrated and outright quitting the DLC. This conversation, though, was a bit overstated, as people initially playing the game did misunderstand the shadow fragments scattered around the world. These offer the player huge statistical buffs in every measure, and they were almost unanimously overlooked. As time went on, people figured these elements out, and difficulty was complained about much less, but part of that also came down to FromSoftware's updates, which nerfed multiple bosses and buffed multiple weapons. Version 1.14, which released on September 11th, in particular nerfed Radahn massively, making him much easier to deal with. But the controversy didn't end with difficulty. At the end of 2024, Shadow of the Erdtree would be nominated for Game of the Year, and as such would become the first DLC ever nominated for such an award. And while it did lose out to Astrobot, its inclusion alone did cause quite a stir, with websites like Forbes writing articles like Shadow of the Erdtree should not win or be nominated for Game of the Year. Ultimately, a lot of that comes down to opinion. Shadow of the Erdtree certainly offers a similar amount of content to its other Game of the Year competitors. However, it is breaking trends by being nominated at all, as previous standout DLCs like The Witcher 3 Blood and Wine and Bloodborne the Old Hunters didn't receive such honors. The line there is now blurred, and it'll be interesting to see what the future holds in terms of DLCs at the Game Awards. Ultimately though, it's a compliment that Shadow of the Erdtree was talked about in this conversation at all. The last 6 months have been quiet for Shadow of the Erdtree, with Elden Ring Night Rain pulling in most of the FromSoftware attention. Regardless, it's undeniable that this was a fantastic DLC, offering much more of what Elden Ring had already put out. Beautiful areas, fantastic bosses, and excellent build variety. So that was Shadow of the Erdtree 365 days later. Thanks for watching.